Hi, I'm Craig Strong, co-founder of Lens Baby, and I'm here to unbox our newest product. Now, this product is, 20 some years in the making, but if we look at the very first time we came out with the Lens Baby, which was 19 years ago in February of 2004, at a trade show in a little tiny booth, my co-founder Sam Pardue and I brought out this crazy little lens, a little flexible lens. Now, the way it focused was different, but the most important thing about this original lens, or the original Lens Baby, was the way it saw the world. It sees the world with one spot of focus and gradual blur as you move away from that spot. Now, we call that the sweet spot effect. And the double glass optic in 2008 came out with the sharpest 50 millimeter version of that with drop-in apertures. It was part of an optic swap system that continues to this day. And our newest product builds on that with the double glass 2. So we're taking that original idea of the sweet spot of focus and turning that into a more feature-rich lens with better build quality for our optic swap system that includes two versions. I've got the optic by itself, so if you've already got an optic swap body, you can go get the optic and put it in there, and then we've got the double glass 2 lens, which is an optic in a body, and that's what I'm going to start with here. So we've got, let's see, we've got a mirrorless version. This is the Nikon Z version of the Composite Pro 2 with double glass 2 and caps on either end. I'm going to put that onto my lens body. And when this is pointed straight ahead, the effect that it has is one area of sharp focus in the middle. When you tilt, you move that sweet spot off center. I would encourage you, if you have not shot with a sweet spot lens before, just go ahead and center it, point it straight ahead, just eyeball it. You can get it really close to centered, and then you can look for that sweet spot in the center. Not until you get used to that, finding that sweet spot and seeing the center of that sweet spot, which is where all the resolving power is, and consistently being able to focus that should you start to tilt. But once you're ready, you can move that sweet spot around and be able to match your composition with a tilted lens, off in the rule of thirds and whatnot. But let's talk about the optic in this thing, because that's what's new. We've had about 25 different optics since we came out with the optic swap system in 2008. This is the double glass 2. In 2008, we came out with the double glass. The double glass is incredibly sharp, and it had exclusively drop-in apertures. So it came with a set of round apertures that you would have to pull out in order to change from f2.5 to 2.8 to 4 to 5.6 and so on. The main difference that we've got here, besides all metal build quality with this, is that it has a 12 bladed aperture. So it's very round at all aperture settings from f2.5 to f22. As you stop it down to the darker apertures, your sweet spot grows. As you open it up, your sweet spot shrinks. That is what we have here. It comes in a mirrorless version. It also comes in a SLR version. I'm going to put this on my Nikon, take my beloved Velvet 28 off of my D800, and it replaces the entire lens. It does not go on the front of an existing lens. So I have just changed from a 28 millimeter variable velvet lens, which is one of my all-time favorites, especially for night sky photography, to a 50 millimeter sweet spot lens that has an internal aperture, and it also has drop-in apertures. So these apertures are not round, unlike the double glass that we came out with in 2008. they are shaped. So I am going to grab one of these shapes and put it in here, and you can see it is just held in by magnetism, which is magic, and you get to put this in, and you can turn your entire lens to change the orientation to get the texture exactly what you want in your background. But these shaped apertures put a texture in your background. If you have points of light, those points of light take on the literal shape of your aperture, but more often it just creates a subtle effect of, I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but that background has a shape to it, it has a texture to it that doesn't look like a normal lens. Now, a Lens Baby isn't going to be like a normal lens because it is a sweet spot of focus and it has tons of blur, even at the same plane as your subject matter, unlike a normal depth of field where everything on that plane is generally in focus on a normal lens. This has a curved depth of field, and so as you move away from that spot of focus into the corners and into the edges of your image, more and more focus effects happen. And so these shaped apertures are really ideal for sweet spot lenses like this. And so to have the option to use a 12-bladed aperture just for your normal sweet spot of photography, sweet spot of focus images, and then to be able to come in and drop in a shaped aperture that is going to give you exactly what you want. Now, it comes with 9 of these, and you can see this one is slots, and those slots, when you do them vertical, you do them horizontal, completely changes everything in the background. Now you can also take these apertures and you can stack them so that you can create shapes. You can get up to 3 deep and rotate them on each other to get exactly what you want. So there's really infinite options in terms of the shaped apertures. So that is the lens itself, which is a lens body, and that lens body is the Composer Pro 2, and the other one is the optic itself. So I'm going to open this up here. The optic is ready to go into your existing lens body. It has all the features. It has the drop-in apertures. It just does not have the lens body. We have the Spark. This is actually the original Spark, but we sell the Spark 2.0 that allows you to focus on the fly and tilt on the fly. Very spontaneous. It's great for video. A lot of music videos use it. And then we also have the Composer Pro 2, which is the most recent iteration. We've had 3 different iterations of the Composer, but it'll fit all 3. So if you have a lens body, go get your optic and throw it in there and have fun. This is a culmination of 20 some years of working on this sweet spot of photography. 19 years ago, it was the first time we brought it to the market, and it sees in a way that no other camera lens sees. And being able to vary that with an internal 12-bladed aperture that's round as you stop it down, and drop-in apertures that can be stacked. There's tons of variation. The build quality on this is better than any of the previous sweet spot lenses where everything that you're touching is metal. You probably shouldn't touch the glass, but there's glass in there too, and it has tons of features that are the culmination of all the best things about sweet spot photography, sweet spot of focus photography that we've been able to offer over the 19 years since we first brought it out. You are the key to this, though, because if you can come in and say, okay, how does this help me see the world in a way that either I don't see and I would like to see, or that I do see and I can't portray with any other camera lens that I have. The variability of this between the tilting, the various apertures, the drop-in apertures, it gives you so many options. Go out, play with it, have fun. We're excited to see what you do with it. You always blow our socks off as far as what it is that can be done with this. We are excited to see what is in the works and will soon be created, because you're going to pick this up and find a place for it. And there is a learning curve. Go learn, go have fun, go play. Enjoy.